We're on.
People of the internet,
People of the podcast world.
of the podcast world.
Yeah. I'm trying to drink water so that way I'm not smacking my lips always. It's very warm out today.
Yeah,
But that is I don't hear the smacking until it happens, and then I'm like, damn it, there it is again, there it is again. It's like it's something that you don't realize you do until you're, I was going to say filming a podcast, but we're not filming.
Yeah, we're not. Last episode, I was just like, we're just going to shoot more. And I was like, no, we're not shooting anything.
But we should be. You should see my hair right now.
Yeah. You have like this, it's called like Pidgeot.
Pidgeot.
It's a Pokemon. Pidgeot.
Are you
hair.
calling me an animal?
I'm calling you a bird.
A bear.
Bird. Oh my god.
Oh, bird.
Yeah, Pidgeot is a bird.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know that one.
One of the first 150 Pokemon.
And then the next one was like, it was an electric bird when it evolved.
No, it's a normal type Pokemon, just flies and it's like
Pidgey, and then it goes
Pidgey, Pidgeotto, and Pidgeot.
Maybe that's the Spanish version.
There's no Pokemon Spanish version. Oh my god.
You don't know about that? I'm pretty sure that's how it is, but I'm not gonna tell you it is when. Whatever. I'm gonna stop talking now. Can we just do the intro?
and we can't promise anything, but you're probably gonna try not to smack your lips again.
I just did it again. I cannot.
Oh my god. 4 episodes in, and
you guys are just gonna have to deal with it. I mean, much love to you all, but this is part of who I am. It's in my DNA. It's probably a learned thing. It's not my DNA.
Kind of like a take it or leave it thing.
It's gonna take it or leave it. This is a rant. And this earphones, I feel like I'm too close to the microphone. I pull back, my headphones fall out. This is already a mess, and we're not even 5 minutes into the episode.
This new setup is in brand with our mess.
It's completely a mess. I also think you're gonna have to move the computer closer to me.
All right,
that's what it is.
And this
I'm gonna pull out.
Now you're gonna hear like a sound with like, maybe I'm just talking so that you don't hear it.
Exactly. Just talk over it. Just talk over
Just talk over the sound.
You're loud enough.
Wow. All right.
Okay.
Now can we do the intro then?
Yes, because we wrote it down on a piece of paper so that way I won't forget it. Let's try. No, I did that one on purpose. Okay. Welcome to Listen, the podcast of two attention hogs fighting for the spotlight. I'm Jimmy Jackson Joe, a.k.a. Jimmy.
Dan. I have no other like Dan, Billy, Joe.
But
maybe like Danilo Jose del Carmen.
Yeah.
And Fernandez Bolivar Palacios.
Yeah, come on with it. Soap opera, Spanish soap opera. Let's go.
Hispanic.
Yeah.
De la Rua.
Didn't we talk about cultures last time? So
yeah, I think we did. No, we talked about our obsessions as middle-aged people.
Mm-hmm. We did almost middle-aged.
Yeah, you and the orchid episode.
The orchid episode and which by the way, I saw a DIY. I'm gonna throw this out. I saw a DIY video that I was like, this is actually helpful, but I'm not gonna do any of these.
I know.
So,
but the things that when they're helpful, it's good to see them. And you're not nobody's ever gonna do them,
mm-hmm.
but it's good to see them because you know there is a solution out there for things.
That is very true, and I just thought of it. If you guys want, maybe you should like listen to this at night with some friends when you guys want to take shots. And every time I do a lip smack, you take a shot because I realized I just did it again and I almost did it again. Like,
Do you want to get people fucked up in this? There's people probably driving.
well, if they're driving, they should not be drinking. Let me just throw that out there. Let's start with number 1. I hope you will never drive.
Well, listening to this
Well, yeah.
podcast and doing this kind of drinking game, or for that matter, lifting heavy machinery,
Yeah, come on.
operating heavy machinery. I mean,
Don't even iron
yeah.
and drink. Do people iron anymore? Of course.
do.
Yeah, they do.
I do.
Yeah, they do.
One of the first things I bought when I moved into this apartment was an iron and an ironing board, because close to when I moved here we had the Pride concert for the choir, so I had nothing to iron my choir uniform. If
I
you
think
will.
I remember you being wrinkly as fuck.
I wasn't.
Are you sure?
It's one of the things that I am Latino programmed not to be is wrinkly. But I bought a very masculine iron.
A very masculine iron.
Yeah.
Where's this iron? Because I want to know what a masculine iron
It's
looks
blue and gray.
like. Blue and gray.
I don't know.
You're so stupid.
I even joked that it was mask when I bought it. So that's why I bought it.
But you know, they would like label it as masculine. That would be
Iron for men.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
But to balance things out, don't touch the microphone,
I know,
Jimmy. Oh my God.
I feel as if I'm spiking. Am I not spiking over there?
A little bit, but you're...
Exactly.
And I even turned your volume down, but that's... You're
Listen,
loud.
don't... Are you trying to call me in right now?
Maybe. But to balance things out,
Yeah.
I bought an ironing board that has flowers on it.
Of course you did.
That has flowers on it.
Because you're queer enough to do that.
So it's just like a masculine iron and a flowery ironing board.
But then you could say that's like patriarchy because the man is
Doing the
ironing down the
ironing?
woman. No, because you're putting the man on top of the woman and the woman is supporting the man.
That's a bit
And
of
he's
a
giving
stretch.
the feminine one heat.
That might be a bit of a
Is
stretch.
it?
I don't know.
Is it?
I don't know.
I mean, you can read into it any way you want to. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and get you canceled again. That's the only thing I'm
Why
doing.
are you doing
I'm just trying to get you canceled. Maybe I will get canceled for trying to get you canceled.
Probably.
Oh,
That's called defamation, and it's people go to jail for that. So if I were you, I would
oh,
stop.
I've already been to jail once.
Me too.
What? You have?
But this is a story for another episode.
No, that should be the story for this episode, and then be like, oh, by the way, we're just gonna talk about quotes. We're gonna talk about movie quotes and stuff. But first, we're gonna start off with something heavy. But I mean, I make mine into quite a funny thing.
Yeah.
We should do that.
Oh, well, let's do that.
Okay.
We
You
don't have
start.
that big of an audience to just keep that big of a suspense.
I mean, come on.
Well, it was in the early 2000s.
There
I-
I'm smacking my lips again.
Yeah,
Sorry, keep
I
going.
even heard it.
I don't know. It's really big.
I was studying engineering, weirdly enough, back then.
This is a weird, interesting, because I'm like, wow, how is this going? I like the build up. Let's
Yeah.
keep going, keep going.
So I had just registered for, I think it was my third or fourth semester of engineering.
okay.
So I was with some friends, and one of them had a car, and he was just gonna drive us to our places. He was gonna give us a ride because gasoline in Venezuela was dirt cheap. It probably is still dirt cheap in international standards. I don't know. I am a bit disconnected from that reality.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, since it was very cheap, he was just, yeah, we're just gonna give everybody a ride. So in one of the stops, we saw some people being loud and screaming in a car roaring by like at full speed, and we just like, whatever. it's Maracaibo, my hometown. People drive fast, so we didn't really care, and we were just talking about our own things. And one of my friends that was there was dropping his girlfriend at the time off at that specific place.
Oh.
So we went back to said friend's house to do a bit of video games before actually continuing on with our days. And while we were like playing video games and stuff, a police car shows up at my friend's house.
What?
And he's like, yeah, someone reported this car, and because there had been like a
Shooting?
assault. No, not shooting.
I was
Like somebody
you had a hand out like you
Yeah,
were
I
pulling
know.
a trigger or something like
yeah,
that.
I know. Somebody had broken into a house, and there had been like a situation, and somebody reported this license plate. So we were like, no, we just need to register the car and all that. So they registered the car, they found nothing, and blah blah blah. And later on, they said, "No, you're gonna have to come with us." And like, okay, and it was just like, sure. I mean, we didn't do anything. Things evolve as usual, I guess.
I mean, ain't that the sad truth?
Yeah.
Keep going, because that's exactly how mine
Yeah.
did. Spun out of control.
And me and my friends ended up 6 hours at a police station, in the jail there, like the little cell they have there, for about 6 hours, because the woman that had reported her license plate was that set that we had been the ones
No.
that came into her house and robbed her at gunpoint.
God. Whoa.
Yeah, so that's why I was
okay,
doing
I was
the
like, okay,
hand.
so there was a gun in there.
Yeah, and one of my friends was very angry and was like, "Shut up! Like, don't anger her anymore." And then I remember saying things like, "I mean, the only thing that I have that resembles a gun is a Nokia phone." So she's like, "What am I gonna do? Like, it's like I have nothing that resembles a gun. You have gone through this car several times, and gone through our stuff several times." So we managed to make calls, like my friends and I, we called our families. So my other two friends knew a lot of people.
Yeah.
So at some point, it came like about 5 to 7 lawyers at that police station.
Wow.
And the woman suddenly like, yeah, maybe I made a mistake. Maybe maybe I was confused. Like, yeah, I'm sorry.
Bitch.
Yeah, and she just started like, but before everything is settled, before I just drop everything, I'm gonna talk to these guys because, they were like in, it's not good to be like bad steps or whatever. Like, and I'm like, huh? So she was a Karen even before the whole Karen concept was a thing. So she Karen'd Edie at us for about a few minutes, and then she left, and that was it. But it became a misunderstanding when 5 or 7 lawyers were like, okay, what's happening? So
I mean, good for you guys that you had that, but how fucked up is that she... I understand in people like people during what would you say, sort of a traumatic experience or whatever, maybe that they can become confused about who they saw or whatnot, but that is so dangerous because there's so many people that end up in that situation that they are just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and somebody mix them up for this kind of person or that kind of person, and then you can ruin somebody's life. She could have ruined... You would not be here if you got charged for that.
No.
Like, that's crazy.
But also, charged for what? Having a Nokia phone? Like, back then they were a thing.
They were a thing. Yeah. So you couldn't have been like, it was a faux pas to have a Nokia phone. Was it one of those big chunky ones?
It was.
Yeah. With the antenna?
Like the little antenna thing.
Oh, the little antenna. I had one of the ones that had like the little antenna that pulled up and it was like a little bing.
No.
I had that. It was my first one, but it was supposed to be a play phone, and then it was a weird thing where my sister had her room next to mine, and the phone had been like disconnected, so her new phone picked like my old phone picked up her new phone signal, and it rang one night, and I picked it up, and I was like, hello? And my sister couldn't hear me. I couldn't hear my sister, but her boyfriend could hear the both of us. So I was like eavesdropping on the conversation, and he was like, hello? And I'm like, hello? And he's like, can you hear that? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, no, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to you. And I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Oh
yeah.
and you know, was not that I care, but was your sister's boyfriend being not PG?
Listen, he was talking about buying a case of beer, and at that point, my sister was not of age, so
Ooh.
yeah. But talking about illegal things, so my thing was a police officer being a Karen, because I went to go. There it goes again. Smack. Take a shot. I was going to visit my mom. I was in university, and I was going to go visit my mom. We had went to go visit my brother, and it was his birthday, so it was March 2nd, I believe. Like we went to visit him on March 1st, March 2nd. I just remember it because I remember after this being like 2 is a bad number. So I went to visit, came back, was driving back because my boss asked me, because at that point I was a sandwich artist. Yes, I said it, sandwich artist. You can guess where I was working.
Yeah.
And then I was driving back early because I was going to go into work. And there's this thing at the beginning of the month and at the end of the month, police officers are like hounding people because they're trying to either fill quotas or like, you know, get a lot in the first of the month or the last of the month. And so I was driving back, and my mom had given me the papers for the insurance, but what I forgot was the sticker, because, you know, each month you put a sticker on the back of the license plate showing that it's valid or whatever. So I forgot it, but I just didn't even think about it, and I was like, I'm not speeding or anything, because I saw all the police out and about. But then I saw a police officer pull up behind me, and I'm like, listen, Mr. Appleton, I'm not about to speed so you can pull me over, so you might as well keep going and look for somebody else. But then he started following me even more, and I'm like, what is going on? Then he turned on his lights, and I freaked out, pulled over on the wrong side of the road, first of all. So when he came over, he was immediately like, is there a reason you pulled over on the left side instead of the right? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I just got nervous, and so I just pulled over. He was immediately like full on attitude, like just like nasty. And he's like, well, did you realize that he mentioned the whole sticker thing. I don't remember exactly what he said, and I'm like, no, I'm sorry. And he's like, I'm gonna need to see your driver's license and registration. So I'm like looking for these papers that I never thought I would even need. I'm like, I don't even know where I put them. I didn't know if I had the right shit or not. So then he like goes back and he's gonna check everything. So then I pull my phone out and I'm sending my mom a message, and I said like, hey, you forgot to give me this sticker for the license plate. And then he comes back and he's like, is there anything else you want to tell me? And I'm like, no. Like, what? And he's like, how about the fact that you're driving on a suspended driver's license? That's a felony. You're coming with me. Get out of the car. And I was like, what? I forgot. Okay, so here's the backstory then to that, is that one day I had to go to the store. I was getting my mom some medicine. She was sick. And being a young, stupid teenager,
oh my God, what did you do?
I was speeding, and I think it was like 45, and I was doing 57 or something like that. So I was speeding and like I being stupid. Well, I got a speeding ticket, and at that time, listen, I was a poor motherfucker. Like, I didn't have the money to pay for it. So what they do is, if you don't pay within a certain amount of time, you get a warrant out for your arrest. Well, it was sent out, and then that year for Christmas, my mom paid it off for me. She's like, "This is your Christmas present. You're not getting anything else." And I was like, "Thanks." So she paid it off. But what happened is it didn't go through the system or something. She paid it off, but they didn't send it through to the federal office. So it still looked like I had a warrant out for my arrest. So when he pulled me over in the system, it showed out as that I needed to go to jail. And that motherfucker was nasty as hell. So I got put in handcuffs. He took me to the back of his car.
Oh.
I mean, I was in there, and then my mom called, and I had, at that point, I didn't have that Nokia phone. I had a flip phone. So I, like, reached into the back of my pocket and, like, flipped it open. And she's like, "Oh, it's okay. I'll send it to you." And I'm like, "It doesn't matter anymore." She's like, "What?" I'm like, "It doesn't matter anymore. I'm in the back of the police car. He pulled me out. Like, I'm going to jail." And I'm like, start bawling. And she's like, "What? What are you talking about?" She was at work. So she had to take off work, come down to the police station to get me. When they're taking my name and like asking me, like, "What's your name? How do you spell it?" Blah, blah, blah. The poor officer. Okay, that officer was nice because I was bawling like a bitch. I was like, like, you know, when you're snotting and you can't breathe.
Yeah.
And I got a dry ass bologna sandwich. I was there for lunchtime, y'all. I got my mugshot, and I will say this: when I got my mugshot, I did smice. I was like full on red face, crying, like, "Ugh," and then they're like, "Okay, 1, 2, 3."
Crime chic.
I was like, "Listen, if I'm gonna have a mugshot, I might as well at least look decent."
Yeah.
So then they put me in cell number 2, and it was March 2nd. And then there was something else with 2. I don't remember what. Oh, they booked me at 2/22. So I was like,
wow.
Okay, obviously 2 is a bad fucking number for me.
Well, we weren't even booked or anything. It was just like mostly like stalling. And because I think also the police officers also like assumed it hadn't been us, like because you know they had nothing against us.
Yeah.
But the woman was very much insisting that we were.
I wonder where she is.
I don't know. don't care. And she was very much insisting that it was us.
Oh.
So there was more like probably stalling. Like we got to the part that we were about to get booked, but that's when the lawyers came in.
Yeah.
And even when we went to the station, it was 2 in one car, like the particular car that the license plate had been taken down, and then another or 2 more in the back of the police car. So all the way from my friend's house to the police station, we were like, we're getting a police car ride, and we just like nothing was like, oh, we're getting arrested for real until the point that now you're gonna be here in this cell. And we're like, what?
What cell?
Cell?
How were the cells, by the way?
They were horrible.
Right.
Like they had been like scratched all over with like
like somebody
like scribbled all over and stuff. And there was just a hole for you to pee or take a shit. And I remember it was kind of cold. But then again, I was probably like stressed, and I felt colder than it had actually been.
Yeah.
But you know, it was just my experience was a bit more of okay, so you know, we happened to be around when this thing was happening, and we got put into this mess.
Yeah.
And you know, it was just like kind of like a light version of Bad Place at the Bad Time. But who would have thought that on a gated community, because we went to drop my friend's girlfriend at the time there, and it was a gated community. Like you needed to report yourself to a person opening and closing a door. So, I mean, it's Venezuela. It is possible in my head.
Yeah.
But if you hear it as as someone now, it's like, how does this happen at a gated community?
Yeah.
The answer is Venezuela. Like it's everything's possible.
But I really want to go visit there.
Yeah, but not now.
No. Another day, another time.
Yeah.
Well, ours, you know what? Ours my story at least ended up being that it wasn't like it was the officers, because in the end, I got booked and everything, and then it came like, I always want to say it came to the light, but it was pretty much that there was a mistake in the system. But instead of the police officers and stuff being like, oh, okay, it was a mistake, we see that you paid, it should have been off the record. No, there was nobody that said, they didn't like just let me out. I had to get a bail bondsman. I paid somebody, like, I don't know how exactly, like, how it works. It's like so my bail was $1,000, but then you get a bail bondsman, which I don't understand how that whole system works. And I pay them $100, and then they get me out of jail. And then they towed my car, so I had to pay another $120 to get my car back. They kept my driver's license, so I couldn't even drive my own car back. My mom took off of work. I missed a whole day off of work. And they would not admit that it was a mistake in the system, even though the people at the other office said, hey, it was our mistake. Here's the paperwork and everything. Please let him out or whatever. And they were like, nope, we booked him and that's it. That's how it is. I mean, it's some nasty, shady shit.
It also, you say it like that, and it's so close to home, literally.
I mean,
I had also once a run-in with a cop, probably trying to fill his quota back in Venezuela as well. Mm-hmm. When I drive back home, I would force my friends to put on seat belts. Yeah. And they were like, but nobody does this. You're gonna do it in my car.
Exactly.
And I never drink. Mm-hmm. And they were like, no, but one beer is okay. No, I would never drink. Mm-hmm. So I end up traditionally being the one that would put every drunk person back in their place. So I had just finished dropping the last drunk person at their place, and I was riding to my place. It was about a 10-minute drive, and then I got pulled over. And then the guy's like ID and license and all of that. So, and I go through like all of the alcohol tests known to man. It was like almost like an hour, and he was like, "Yeah, but where's the?" And then he was like, "Where's your hour?" Yeah, something like that. Oh. So like, where's your car insurance? Here it is. Where's the deed of property of the car? Here it is. Because if you don't own a car, if the car's not on your name, there has to be like a notarized thing that you are authorized to drive this car. Oh. So hardcore. Yeah, it was on, I think it was my mom's name, that car. Uh-huh. And there was a paper that I am authorized, and this is my mom's ID is on it, and it's like signatures. Okay. Mm-hmm. Then it's like adding up like documents to ask, and I'm like, here it is, and here it is, and here it is. Oh my God. Here it is. And after about an hour or so, I was just like, yeah. Are we done? Yeah, you can go. Okay, thank you very much. Have a good night. But it was just like,
I mean, people and their pride, right? Because I always feel like because they have like in their idea, like, oh, I'm gonna get this motherfucker, they're like, I'm gonna get you. Yeah. And then when you show up and they're showing out, then they're like, oh shit, I just have to let him go now. And then you're like, see ya. But it's that pride.
Yeah.
Oh, it's such a nasty thing.
I don't know. It's it's just so weird that happens. But it's more like, no, I have to be right because I'm an authority figure. But it's just like, dude, you're also human.
Exactly.
Like,
it is a job.
It is a job.
If we walked around in our kindergartens acting like we never did anything wrong, I mean...
Be like, when I was 2 years old, I already knew how to walk properly.
We would be literally middle-aged, past middle-aged, and be that old grandpa motherfucker like, I had to walk to school back in my day. Which actually did, didn't I?
I did when I was in middle to high school.
Yeah, I
would
also
get
had a
driven
bus
around.
system sometime. You were a fancy bitch. He was a fancy bitch.
No, gasoline was very cheap back in Venezuela. Remember that? Are you listening to what I said?
I am, but you also just said you were part of a gated community, or you were dropping some off in a gated community.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you were in that gated community or if you were outside of the gated community.
No, I was.
Because gated community in my mind is you got some penny.
Nah. My neighborhood went from not being a gated community to actually having gates at every block because of the...
Oh, because of your community?
No, because of the insecurity and criminal rates and stuff. But with my neighborhood it wasn't a gated neighborhood per se. It just had gates at every block. It's so weird. It all makes sense when lived through it. But it's weird to explain. It's very weird to explain.
Yeah, I mean, when you kind of go back and think about things, like, did we already mention? Oh, look at you! You were the loud one now. Look at you!
Oh my!
I heard that one.
I heard it too. I'm gonna stop drinking water now.
Oh, I just like it when you're more messy, because I can see you giving me the eye each time I make some noise. I'm gonna relish this moment. Yeah. But it's like certain things to me, like it's like my experience, and I don't think of it as necessarily like a bad thing, or I don't think of it as like necessarily bad memories. But then when you say it to other people, they're like, "Oh my God, did you really?" You know, it's like they're like, "Wow, so you were poor," and I'm like, "Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean, you know, when like you start saying stuff, and especially here, because some people are like, you realize that there was a poor, like the poor here is maybe a different poor to other people.
Oh, the
level of poor.
The poor here is probably very much middle class.
Yeah.
Back home.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I would say I was like low middle class or something. Like nothing. I didn't have that much money growing up. Or I mean, my household was for the most part a one person income bringer, which was my mom.
Yeah.
And you know, there wasn't that much money. There was just like this thing. It kind of taught me like a bunch about being like thrifty and stuff.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
Like, and this is just like a very funny anecdote, but like when my mom would like buy cheese at the store, like 1 kilogram of cheese, she would like sliced. She would just cut it in half, and it's like you're gonna put like just half a slice of cheese into a bread, but they were bread loaves, so it just like they kind of look like a hot dog, but they're not, like the long bread rolls or something. So it's possible to put that a one slice of cheese without losing the flavor. But it was just, I had these things like, you know, growing up where I had to like be very aware of not squandering resources or like, we only have a limited amount of things, and this is what we have maybe until the next month. Like I thankfully never went to bed hungry. That's something I'm gonna put out or something, because But
Otherwise, your mama will come here and whoop your ass.
she would probably fly over here. She's about even if you're now in Corona lockdown worldwide, and even if this episode has not been aired yet, she's out the airport like, I'm gonna fly this plane. I'm gonna fly this plane myself. But no, I never went to bed hungry.
Yeah.
But we were very much aware that we didn't have that many things growing up, and we had to make do with what we have.
But did you ever feel, because like when I think back to it, like I never felt like because I was talking to my sister, and my sister had like a different outlook on life, I think, than I did, and somehow I just like, I was sad at some point in life, you know, you're kind of like a sad little kid, but I never felt like you always want what somebody else has as a kid, right?
Exactly.
But I never felt like, oh my God, you never, like you said, I never went to bed hungry, or you weren't like so dirty that, I don't know, that it was, you were
like
washed, you had all of the essentials that you
never
need
had
in
dirty
life.
clothes on you and stuff like that.
Yeah, and as a kid, you always see something and you want it, and so I wanted, but it wasn't that I needed anything. And so for me, like when I think about that, I'm like, there were people that I knew that had more dire of a situation just in my own town. So when I thought about being poor, I was like, yeah, I'm poor, but I'm not hungry.
Yeah.
Which was the best thing that you can think of too. And especially when you think about being a single mother in the world, it's yeah.
I mean, I back then being
Shut up.
Back then being younger and stupid, I would, and also not knowing this much that I know about the world right now and my travels and international.
Oh, he's an international bitch.
Yeah, but like, no, I started with a joke because I it's a serious topic, but I kind of want to make it lighter. But like back then, you know, being young and stupid, I would jokingly, cynically say that I was poor. But you know, now if I could go back. If I could turn back time.
Okay, sure. Come on.
I would just go and just tell myself to stop doing it because, you know, it's not that you have like what you need, and in order to you know, move ahead. Like if you have these things that are taken care of, like if you don't go to bed hungry and stuff like that, you can advance in your school, and you can advance in, and you can.
And the fact that we got to go to school, period.
Yeah, exactly. So right now I count all my blessings, and one of the first times that I started to understand that I had to stop saying I was poor because I had, you know, at least the basics, and I learned through my mother a bunch of like life skills. Was when I first moved to the States as part of my grant, and I had to live alone for about a year. Yeah. So I was the one, you know, trying to see like, okay, I'm running out of this, running out of that, like having to manage all of that, like budgeting, experiencing that side of adult life, and then also like, you know, making sure that nothing in your house would run out, like you didn't run out of like soap for the washing, like detergent for the washing machine, or like soap for washing the dishes or stuff like that.
And you were alone. You had no kids.
Exactly.
You know, and then think about adding that pressure then of somebody depending upon you.
Kids that want.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, when I think about that too, all of that, and I think about how much I whined about some stupid toy that I would have forgotten in like a week, I'm like, oh God, how annoying I must have been. You know, like, oh, my mom having the patience to put up with the whining. Oh, I should have got more whooping as a kid.
Don't hit your kids.
Don't hit your kids.
You have a kid,
but
don't hit your
I
kid.
do not hit him, but I do tell him very decisively and firmly, like, no means no.
Yeah.
And that's not, you know.
And funnily enough, when my mom came to visit me when I moved to Colombia, and I was all like, "Oh my God, Mom, you're wasting shampoo in this house. Nobody does this." Like, it's just one drop of shampoo for your entire hair. Like, you know.
She's like, bitch, remember all those years I took care of you? I'm going to take as much shampoo as I want now.
Something along those lines. But I was just like, what? Are we taking showers with shampoo now in this house?
Oh, I mean, yeah. I'm much more of a princess, I think, than my mom. But I do some things I say to my mom. I'm like,
are we becoming our mothers?
We are.
Oh my God.
We are past middle aged and we've just merged into our mothers. Because that's what I think I mentioned it on one of the last episodes. Like, sometimes I'm like telling my mom, like, Mom, cut it out. And she's like, and I'm like, you are the mother here. I am the child. Why am I telling you? You know. But one time my mom actually, this is getting out of the poorer part of it, but my mom was like, called me and she's like, what are you doing tonight? I'm like, oh, we're just sitting at home. We're watching a movie, eating a snack. And she's like, oh, you want to go downtown with me? I'm like, no. She's like, well, can I stay at your house tonight? I'm like, what do you mean? Because she was staying at my grandparents' then, so she then wanted to come and crash at my place. Go out and party and crash at my place. And I was like, all right, just don't wake me up. And I mean, it made me at one point feel like, what the hell are you doing? But then I also thought, yeah, you raised 4 kids. You kind of deserve it. So whatever. And at that point, I was like, here's the key. Let yourself in. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Our mothers deserve it, right?
Yeah. Just don't wake me up.
Exactly. Don't wake me up. And if you do,
you can use as much shampoo as you want.
Exactly. She's got a lot of hair, so she probably would have finished the bottle. Actually, let's be honest. Here I sit as I brush my hair out of my face. This was not even going to be what we were going to be talking about.
I know.
It got like heavy, a little bit funny, but heavy. But I like that.
Yeah.
This is what our podcast is about. We can choose whatever we want.
And we can change it on the go.
Exactly. And you don't have to listen. And that's fair.
No, well, you do have to listen because that way that way we can keep doing more episodes like this.
Yeah.
Don't drive away, listener.
I'm sorry. I was trying to give them choice to let them know, like,
but no.
I mean, because if you're going to complain, I'm not going to listen to you as a viewer.
Listener, they don't watch us do this.
Oh my God. Anyway, what were we going to talk about today?
We're
going to do some funny quotes or something, right?
This is probably just have it on another episode because this is a big of a...
I know. We've diverted. How far are we in?
It's about 43 minutes into...
Oh my God.
Like, how do you segue from this?
Exactly. Quotes. By the way, we wanted to do some translation quotes.
Yeah. We're probably going to do... we're most definitely going to do another episode where we're going to actually keep in plan.
But it is kind of nice when you think about how we've done, because then one episode we did kind of a serious, and then the next episode we did something light.
Yeah,
so.
This could be this part of of this episode. That's like a few minutes before we actually called it an episode.
Mm-hmm.
If you are just joining in after 43 minutes of this podcast, you will kind of hear what we have been up to, so you can go back.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, you start binging into this podcast again.
Exactly.
And you can, get up to speed but we actually recommend listening to the other messes that we did.
Listen to all the other messes. They are so worth it. Because also I think that we've kind of had some inside jokes that have just leaked unintentionally.
Yeah, totally.
The lip smacking, for example. Yeah. You being canceled, for example.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for you. But do you know what I've been thinking? Like, when I'm talking, sometimes I thought, like, word that better so that way you're not being canceled. But it's not so much, actually, here's the thing. It's not so much that I care about being canceled or not, because I don't really care. It's more about being aware, which I think that is kind of a good thing to be nowadays. It's good to be aware of the words that are coming out of your mouth while still being able to express what you want to express.
Yeah.
But still having enough sense to realize what you're saying and who it can affect.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It also takes training a lot. Like you have to train yourself to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess what all the people speaking out against it is that they probably have this in their mind, like, I don't want to have to think before I talk. Oh my God. Why can't I not say whatever I want? And then change it as we go. Like,
because then you're going to have to make an apology video. So
about 40 minutes. It's an standard apology videos now are 40 minutes. So
I mean, how can you apologize for 40 minutes? Let me just say that. How is that even possible? What are you saying?
I don't know.
A bunch of bullshit.
I mean, also like years and years of like apology videos, I guess, or like years and years of like things that you get canceled now.
Exactly.
I don't know, but we don't want to do that.
No. And the other thing is,
but that's why on the second episode, recap, I was like, can I call myself Dan Quisha? And I was like, it was a spur of the moment with the improv thing, but I was just like, no, maybe I shouldn't say that. I mean, I know I'm brown, but I don't know if I can fully go there. So just like,
but names are also, I think names aren't necessarily. I mean, okay, there is a culture, and if you think like in Iceland, that there's a name society, but I think outside of that, you can give yourself a name. If you're doing it in a mocking way, it's different.
No, I don't think I was mocking anybody.
No, exactly. I don't think that you are. Exactly. So, I mean, I know what some people would say. I know some people would say like, oh no,
because your name is not Jimisha. Yeah,
it's not Jamisha. It very well could have been.
Yeah. but you are black, so
yeah.
So it's just like, I mean, you can't see that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting canceled for this analysis alone again.
Well, like I said, I like a solo.
Oh, good luck turning on your new microphone.
Yeah, which by the way, did we already mention that?
Oh no.
No, I got a new microphone. I got the same microphone that he did because my microphone, I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I hear it whenever I listen. There's a tiny little bit of like a little sound, just like a little.
It picks everything up.
And it picks everything up. It's a really great ASMR microphone. but my microphone then, because it's the same one,
I don't know.
For some reason the computer doesn't pick it up, or is that what he says?
I don't know. I'm trying my best to be the techno guy in this podcast, because if you haven't heard if this previous 3 episodes, Jimmy thinks he's the talent. Like, he just walks in and everything has to be like already set up and prepared.
Listen, I'm going to throw this out there. I don't think I am the talent. Obviously, I am, because if you were the talent, you would have done this by yourself. No, wouldn't you? Second of all, I'm coming to you.
Yeah.
You don't have to travel to me, so
at least do something.
I'm providing you with my presence.
Sure, Jan.
So, yeah. No. But it's okay. We'll figure it out. If there's anybody listening that is more technologically inclined, please feel free to send us a message or to stop by and set up our microphones for us.
We're just recording this through my computer that has GarageBand, and just like connected the 2 microphones there,
sitting across from each other.
Because
but now we don't hear. There's not the echo in the earphones. I have to say that you stepped up your pussy with that one.
Yeah.
Could I get canceled for saying that because you don't actually have a pussy? I don't know. Who cares?
my metaphorical pussy.
Yes.
I don't care.
I don't, but somebody might. I mean, that's the other thing. I'm like,
Well,
I'm gonna
whatever.
get canceled for just saying that. Anyway, keep going.
Whatever. So if you haven't been listening the previous 3 episodes, so the first one was about our origin story, like how we met
Yes.
and how we became friends and how this dynamic came about. I guess. So
Yeah.
then second episode was about backtracking.
Yes. Backtracking. Yes.
It was basically me backtracking the entire episode.
The
And
entire episode.
but the revisiting stuff there. But it was cool. It was a cool
It
episode.
was very nice. It got a little political too, didn't it?
We got pretty political.
Yeah.
But not too much.
Yeah.
The third episode we just talked about our
Obsessions and pet peeves, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a mix of those,
Yeah.
of both. Jimmy is very into orchids. I was gonna say orchideas because that's the word.
Orchideas.
Jimmy's very much into orchids, and back then, when I was in Venezuela, I was very much into film cameras.
Yeah.
Now I'm obsessed with not getting deported. I'm just gonna put that out there. Please, UTL, don't.
We should send them this podcast and be like, look at the progress that he's making and continue to look at what he's
I will
providing
probably
to
get
the
deported
society.
after the first episode.
They'd be like, listen, no, never mind.
Never mind. He's like, nope. So this is my obsession, not getting deported.
I should have waited to bought the microphone and just kept yours when you got deported. It's
Wow.
so insensitive,
Yeah.
so nasty.
No, you're gonna get canceled.
I'm yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because you are stomping on my immigrant right
I know. It's so nasty.
with your Icelandic passport.
It's so nasty with my blue passport.
Yeah. See, my God, you're the worst.
I am. I'm sorry.
And
Here's my apology video.
and this one we had a whole idea about it, and we just sidetracked a bit.
completely sidetracked. But thanks for sticking with us.
Yeah, but I mean, now we have both been in jail, so we are
I know.
like
the criminals.
We are. There's some criminal in us. I don't know, there isn't, but
No, I mean I did speed, so I did get a speeding ticket while I lived here as well.
I had a Nokia phone.
You had a Nokia phone. I had a Nokia phone.
Similar levels of criminality.
Yeah. And then we talk about poverty and this. Ooh.
Yeah,
We're going the gamut.
Is it like the even episodes that are getting political, and the odd episodes are more like light and stuff?
Yeah, I like that.
Because episode 2 was very much political.
It was. Yeah.
It was like we talked about parenting.
Yep.
Even though I don't have a kid, but we talked about that. We talked about telling men to step their little dicks or pussies up,
Exactly.
or whatever they choose to have on their up,
Yes.
whatever junk they have up, so that they could do more work in the kindergartens.
Yes.
And
I really hope something like that has happened.
Yeah.
Like somebody hears it and it just inspires somebody. Anyway, keep going.
and what else? What else did we do? That's basically.
I
And we are the similarities within our cultures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I like this. I like the flow of things. If you guys like the flow of things, let us know. Comment on wherever platform that that we're putting out there.
Yeah, or send us an email at or a Gmail and stuff.
At Gmail, at Gmail.
You hear that soon enough in the outro sections of the things.
I love the Gmail.
But for now, because we have been rambling for a lot,
and I'm hungry. I just got really hungry all of a sudden.
Same. So we're just gonna probably stop and eat, and then maybe talk about what are we gonna do with this podcast in the future, so that we could be a bit less of a mess.
Exactly.
But until the next time,
bye bitch.
Thanks for listening to this messy episode of Listen. If you want to share the spotlight with us, feel free to follow us on our socials at LSTNpod on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you want us to talk about something, send us a line at lstnpod@gmail.com. Till next time, bye bitch!